After 18 months of dusty roads and border crossings, we knew stepping foot in the UK meant we were starting a completely different adventure. I'm Chris, this is Sara, and we can't forget Kramer, and we just made one of the biggest decisions of our lives. For the past year and a half, we've been traveling the Pan American Highway in our 1988 Toyota Land Cruiser. But when we finally reached Panama, we hit a crossroads. We could ship our truck to Colombia for over $6,000 and continue south, or completely change course and ship it to the UK for $3,000. Well, surprise, we chose Europe. Our truck is somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic, 4 weeks at sea, so we flew over to the United Kingdom a few days early because we couldn't just sit around and wait.
First impression videos are always really hard, but they're especially hard somewhere like England where there's so much. There's so much history, there's so much beauty, there's so much of everything. It's so just trying to get it all into one video is obviously going to be impossible, so go be gracious with us. But along those same lines, also give us more recommendations, because this is not going to be our only time in England. We're going to be back and forth in the UK a pretty decent bit over the next couple of years is our hope. So if you have more recommendations for anywhere in the UK, but specifically in this video, England, please let us know.
So here we are, staying at the Pheasant Inn in southwest England, which just so happens to be close to some of the most charming and mysterious places in the entire world. The Cotswolds. I've heard the name thrown around, but I couldn't have told you if it was a town, a region, or just some British thing I was supposed to pretend to understand. Sara, being the more prepared traveler between us, knew exactly what it was. But when we woke up to gray skies and that particular British kind of cold that cuts right through you, curiosity won out over comfort. And if we're gonna be stuck waiting for our truck anyway, we might as well find what makes this place so special. And within about 5 minutes of wandering around, it became pretty clear why people talk about this place. It looks like someone took every romantic idea you've ever had about the English countryside and just built it. And like always, up first is coffee.
Out here in this dress, it's freezing. I don't know why I didn't even bring a jacket. It's so cold I could see my breath a second ago. Got a nice little hot latte from Stow Coffee. It says, Stow Coffee is the smallest commercial coffee roastery in the UK, with an asterisk, and at the bottom it says, probably, with an exclamation mark, which I think is really funny. But this is just one of those places that we've always wanted to come, just the Cotswolds in general. We've never been here. Obviously, we got to England like a week ago today. We're just gonna kind of explore the area a little bit today. It's really cold. Just gonna get moving. Let's go. Yeah, my toes are going numb. Got 10 toes and I think I can only feel about 3 right now. So this is St. Edward's Church. This is one of the towns that we were told you like when I was researching, you have to come here. It's probably the most popular one is my understanding. But St. Edward's is, you can see it the second you drive into town, like the bell tower and all, but it's most famous to tourists for this door. So there's 2 trees that grow on the side of this church's north door. It's said to have been the inspiration behind some of the doors in the Mines of Moria, like when Tolkien wrote the book. So he apparently came here and this was like the inspiration for the doors entering the Mines of Moria. And it's kind of, you can kind of understand, like, it looks dwarfish. Like, it looks like dwarfs would live here. It's kind of dark and enclosed, but really beautiful, kind of mysterious looking. Yes, Tolkien used it for inspiration for, one small aspect of his Lord of the Rings books, which I love. And if you're going to be in England, you've got to read a little bit Tolkien and C.S. Lewis before you come. Actually, there's so many authors I've been trying to brush up on and reread while we're here and before we got here. It's just next to impossible. There's so many English authors. This is a beautiful church, and it says that the church has been in part here since the 12th and 13th centuries, which is incredible. When you think about, the Pilgrims didn't even sail to the U.S. or to America until 1620. This has been around since the 11 and 1200s, the oldest part of this building. It's been a place of Christian worship for over 1,000 years. It is still a church today. It's pretty cool.
This is the part of the episode where we bring up our good friends, Safety Wing. We've used Safety Wing for years, but they have a special announcement that they wanted us to share with you.
They now have Nomad Complete Insurance, and that is exactly what it sounds like, where it's not just travel medical insurance, it's medical insurance for the nomad, like us, that's for ongoing issues. Instead of just, injuries on the road, it's like actual health insurance.
It covers routine care, mental health, pregnancy, cancer treatment, you name it, and it still includes all the travel perks, lost luggage, emergency evacuation, trip delays, and more. And this is the cool part, you can even add the US as a coverage option.
As Americans, we know how hard it is to get insurance. Insurance is very expensive, and then you throw in travel medical insurance on top of that, and it just gets very expensive. So instead of paying for two different things, you no longer have to pay for travel medical insurance and then regular medical insurance for back home. You can combine the two and save money is what the whole point is. And this way you're covered whether you're at home in the States or if you're from somewhere else or on the road. So if you're like us, you're a digital nomad, freelancer, and you need medical insurance because you never know what life's going to throw at you, consider the option. We'll link everything down below. Check out Safety Wing's new Nomad Complete Insurance. See if it works for you.
Problem with the UK, Europe, places like this in general, is that the pastries are so darn good. So I went into this Otis Belle. Immediately I knew this was a mistake because all the pastries looked amazing, and I came out with 3 big bags of different things.
Holy moly. What in the world, Chris? You went nuts in there.
It's how much for all that?
If I were to go by US prices at a craft bakery, I'd say 15 to 20 US dollars.
12 pounds.
It's about $15. Okay. But still, this is a very touristy town, very popular. I don't know. I mean, if you were to go somewhere like New York, this thing alone costs $8 probably. This is what happens when I send Crystal into a bakery alone. Not that the result would have been much better if you had sent me in alone, because I would have said, well, I didn't know what you wanted, so I got a lot of things as my excuse. But we both know that's just because I wanted to try everything. First up is a savory. It is a chili and cheese croissant, and it's warm and savory, but not like I thought. The chili is more like a jam, so it's kind of sweet. My first thought when I bit into this croissant was butter. So that's how you know it's a good croissant. And it's flaky. It went everywhere. You hear that? That noise always makes me hungry. That is the sound of perfection.
Sara decided to eat the cruffin from bottom like a mad person.
Why did I do that? How is one supposed to eat a cruffin? I'm trying to be delicate here.
You've destroyed this thing. Let me explain this cruffin to you really quick. It's very sweet. The dough is very good, but it's tough. And so that's the excuse that Sara was giving to me why she ripped it open like an animal. And I understand, it is a little tougher to chew, but once you break it apart and you start tasting it, it's pretty darn good. Very, very sweet. So sugar coma coming in 3, 2, 1. We decided to hold off on the cinnamon bun because I got too much food. So that will be incoming, but just know that this Otis Belle, very, very good pastry shop. Cute town too. We could have stayed in the Cotswolds all day, but being Americans with a rental car, 35 miles to see something completely different felt like nothing. So we kept exploring. You know, while waiting for the truck, we saw that we were really close to a very iconic,
historic
big rock.
rocks.
And we're here at Stonehenge, and we were looking at the price to get into Stonehenge, and honestly, for the VIP experience, I think it was over 70 pounds, which means you get to go inside the circle, and before that, I think it was 40 or 50 pounds just to like get in the park. But what they don't tell you is that there's a free path that walks right up against it, and you can see it. Can't go inside, but you can see, have a great view on this free path.
It's a pretty view. Like, you kind of approach it like at the same height of it, and then you walk down a little bit of a slope. It's It's like, I don't know, we've walked a quarter of a mile so far, and we could walk easily another quarter of a mile probably. So not a bad walk, really pretty. All right, so we were walking up the path, and about half a mile up, there was a field that allows off-leash dogs, and I happen to have Kramer's ball with me. So we decided, it sounds like a really great photo op, and it's just a really pretty field, and he deserved to play ball because he's been quite a good dog lately. Isn't that right? We got to throw the ball and play fetch with Kramer right next to Stonehenge. This dog's been more places than most people have, and he has no idea. It's just so funny to us.
Standing here looking at these massive stones, and I mean massive, like each one weighs more than 10 cars, you can't help but wonder, what were they thinking? 5,000 years ago, someone looked at this empty field and said, you know what this place needs? Giant rocks arranged in a perfect circle. Then someone convinced hundreds of people to spend decades making it happen. We have no idea who they were. We don't know why they built it. Was it a calendar, a temple, burial ground, the ultimate community project? Nobody knows. But here's what gets me. They put these stones in the exact right places to track the sun and moon. Without computers, without GPS, just human ingenuity and probably a lot of trial and error. And now, some 5,000 years later, we're still showing up. Still trying to figure out what they were thinking. Still feeling whatever it is this place makes you feel. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the mystery is the monument.
I told Chris, this is one of those things, like, you hear about a lot of people, like the general consensus, people say it's kind of overwhelming. Or not overwhelming, underwhelming. But I didn't really want to read too much about it. I mean, besides the history, I didn't really want to read, what to expect. I kind of want to just show up and see what we saw. And I have to say, I'm more impressed than what I expected. Kramer. I'm gonna kill him. So really cool experience, just coming up. It's just one of those iconic things you see, you read about in history books, and the mystery behind it of like, what are they? Why are they here? Kind of thing. How did they get them here? Happy Sunday from England. This is our first weekend here, and we're doing something today that we were told we have to do when we're in England. We are doing a Sunday roast. And our understanding is that most pubs, traditional inns, that kind of thing, on Sundays, they bypass most of the regular menu, and then they do a roast.
Noisy, are you?
Very.
Hi, yeah. Like a sheep. You're literally like, woo, you're like a sheep.
So here's what we did. We got up today and we went to New Forest National Park, which is about an hour from where we're staying. I went for a nice long bike ride. Chris went for a nice long run, and we skipped lunch. So we're very hungry. Now we are back at our hotel, and they have a pretty highly rated Sunday roast. But for now, we're gonna enjoy a beer and a Sunday roast.
We're staying at the Pheasant Inn here, somewhere in England. It is the most quintessential kind of like cottage inn that I've ever stayed in. It feels like you're staying in something in the movies. Really nice, beautiful farmland, pretty quiet. And there's not a lot of rooms here, but there always seems to be a lot of people here, mostly in the pub, which I find so fascinating that people are driving everywhere and they're coming here to eat, they're coming here to drink. So we're taking it as the food should be pretty good.
I got the beef and then he got the pork. It smells delicious and I am very hungry. Even Kramer's got his little nose at the end of the table looking up trying to get some. This is a lot of food. We should have split. Oh, so there's there's cabbage, carrots.
That is really good. It's really tender. Just kind of like melts in your mouth. So I got the pork, pig, and it's like...
They need that.
Just in case you didn't know what pork was. It's really, really tender. I almost kind of wish it was cloudy and rainy because I feel like it'd be a good comfort food, but it's sunny and beautiful right now. Very impressed. I will love to eat this again.
Well, clearly that was terrible. I destroyed that. Oh gosh. It was so good. I was so hungry and it completely hit the spot. It was perfect comfort food. In fact, when I was a kid, on Sundays, my mom would make roast. Actually, we'd leave for church and we'd come home and the roast would be ready. So this actually kind of took me back. We always had roasted potatoes and carrots. If you're in England on a Sunday, you've got to get a roast. Today's the day. We are in Southampton right now. I am sitting in our rental car. Chris is in the port right now picking up our truck, or is trying to. So we had an appointment for 3:40 p.m. The port closes at 4. And then Chris got to the port at 3:40, and he texted me. He said they have no record of us being here at 3:40. So our shipping company told us yesterday that we were confirmed to be here at 3:40, and yet still we have no appointment. So I'm a little confused. I know this stuff probably happens all the time, but there's that like, oh crap, they close in 20 minutes. Can we figure this out in 20 minutes? So hopefully Chris will be the only one dealing with whatever's happening down there. Hopefully there won't be like a line behind him. And then we're gonna go back to our hotel for one night. And then tomorrow we actually head to London. We've got to fill y'all all in because this has been a long time in the making. This has been the plan all along, to pick up the truck, go to London, and then beeline it to Scotland, because some of our best friends are actually flying over from the USA to the UK, and this was sort of the plan of how we were going to see them and everything we're doing with them. So we're going to beeline it from England to Scotland. Chris, I'm sorry I'm recording all this. I know you're going to cut this out because we'll have to explain it again later.
Currently standing in the port here in Southampton. I have all my documents, this green running vest that Sara owns because they said we need a green vest. And I'm waiting for the truck. It's kind of surreal thinking that the truck has been across the Atlantic and we're meeting it here. So just waiting. They said they couldn't find it. I couldn't tell if that was English humor or if they really couldn't find it, but it's here somewhere. Hopefully the next thing that you see is us and the truck, and we're ready to go.
I am less than a mile from our truck. Chris should be within a few hundred feet of our truck right now. And we're about to find out if it made it in one piece or if there was any damage. Vandalism is not uncommon, which is a huge concern with shipping. He just texted me, he's still waiting. Thankfully, the route we did, which was Panama to England, it didn't stop anywhere after it left Panama. It did not stop again until it got to the USA in Georgia, which is actually really close to us where we're from. It didn't stop in any of the sketchy ports. Like apparently Jamaica has a bad reputation of being really bad for shipping your truck through. Like apparently a lot of vandalism happens there. So we avoided the worst of the ports is our understanding. So we should be okay. We took a lot of precautions packing up the truck to make sure that it was safe and locked down, but there's only so much you can do. A little bit nervous because you never know what's going to happen. We've never had a ship before, so this is like our first time going through the nerves of the picking up and everything. We made it through the drop off, but now we got to make it through the pickup. Okay, it's been 2 minutes since I last talked to the camera, and Chris just sent me this. He's with the truck.
Guess what's here? It's so surreal, and it looks pretty clean. For selling across the ocean, this is looking really good. All right, let's just go.
The battery's dead, which we knew. Our batteries were actually going out when we were in Panama City, and we could have replaced them there, but we said, let's just wait until we get to England because our truck, it's sort of hard to explain, but like when you turn the car off, if you don't take the key out just the right way, the battery will stay on. And so we thought there's a good chance somebody's gonna load it onto the boat. It's gonna get to the UK and it's gonna be dead again. So we're just gonna wait and replace the batteries today. There's a shop in town that does it 24/7, and they said they would take us in as long as they have the batteries. So we're gonna take it over there, one step closer. It's here, it made it in one piece. It looks great from the outside, so really hoping it looks good on the inside too. Chris is on the move. He'll be coming right out that gate in just a minute. I don't know what he's doing. Well, he may have just left me. I gave him a drop pin of where I was. He just come out the gate. I saw him come out the gate, and instead of turning right to U-turn it right here where I am, where there's a huge parking spot behind me, he went across the intersection and just kept on going. So maybe he's finally had enough for my shenanigans. Maybe he needs that alone time. Kramer, he may have left us. I'm here. He's here. Oh, is he coming closer?
For behind the scenes and extra content, you can head on over to our Patreon community. Otherwise, be sure to follow on Instagram or like and subscribe here. It really helps creators like us.